You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey, trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If, on the other hand, you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done from professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. This is No Fuego Friday. 12th day of May, 2017. Welcome to the party. Happy Friday, everybody. You've been working for the weekend. By golly, you deserve it. Hope you're going to make the best of it. Don't forget Mom. That's your mom, your kid's mom, your grandmom. And maybe there's somebody at church who's like always kind of been a mother to you. Or just, all the ladies in your life. Light them up. Roses. I don't want to say chocolate because there's so much high fructose corn syrup in there. There's actually more in there than in my dog's dog food. A true story. And it's horrible. That stuff's everywhere. It's oozing out our pores. We'll probably find out that, there'll be some study or report years down the line that the reason man now lives to be substantially older than he did a few centuries ago is because of the high fructose corn syrup. It somehow stimulated some growth hormone somewhere, and I don't know. Anyway, Michael's got to run, so he's not cut and running because of what happened in the live training room. He's not like that, but he has an appointment. So before I say anything else, he's going to pop over here and do a recap of what basically didn't happen in the live training room today. Like I said, it's No Fuego Friday. And when he's done, I'll be back with more hijinks and the stuff you've come to know and love. Now, here's the deal. If you can't see the chart I have up, go to our homepage at CFRN.net. On the right-hand side of the page, click the big microphone. Follow the instructions where it says Watch Live Now. You only got to do this once per month. 30-second registration. Bam, you're in like Flynn was out. Okay? And then you get in with one-click access for the rest of the month. Sweet deal. And some mighty fancy rope work. Michael, you ready? This guy tells me, I need to go first, man. It's important.
Hey.
Oh, there you are.
Hey now.
Was you out having a Dr. Pepper on the front porch?
No.
You a little sweet?
Need a little sweet, yeah.
Oh, man. It hurts so bad when I do that, and I don't know why I keep doing it, but anyway.
Stop doing that.
I'm going to, if I can find my walker, I'm going to go get a real quick cup of joe, but I'll make it real quick, okay? While you do your thing? All right.
All right. I got it.
Boy, these aircraft aluminum they make these things out of nowadays, it's amazing.
There. Okay. All right, here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Friday, the 12th day of May 2017. Yes, 12th day of May 2017. Okay, so if you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to take a free trial, you just need to go to our homepage here, CFRN.net. Right up here at the top where it says want to learn how to trade, put in your email, put in your name, and click there. Once you do that, you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link. Okay, if you don't click that confirmation link, we don't know you took the trial. All right, so it is imperative that you click on that confirmation link. Now, spreadsheet. We had a red day today, guys. We haven't had one since the end of March. So we were due, and the markets just weren't moving until the European markets closed. But we were -8 on the euro, -8 on gold, and +4 on cattle. So we're -90 on the day. Okay, and we took 9 trades to get to -90. On the month now, 881.25, and on the year, 13,592. That's over 90 days, averaging 151 a day. Okay. Yeah, if you're going to read this, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosure stuff down at the bottom. Okay. Now, let's start out with cattle. We took a down close off the BBC right here and took 4 ticks profit on that. This whole cattle thing, it's brand new to me, but you can see there's a spread in here, in between the bid and the ask. So you're not going to be able to trade any size with the cattle without getting a whole bunch of slippage. Just saying. And it moves around. Yeah, it's really thin, and it moves around really quick because it's really thin. So you should have a complete bracket order on that. Don't keep it open-ended because it can go one way and come right back really quick. I took 1 on there, John. This one right here for +4 ticks. And let's see, on the gold, let's see, we're -8 on gold. We stopped out on this one right here. That was our first trade. Stopped out -8 ticks, and then it went down and did what it should have done. Then we had a break even right there. And then it was just really choppy the whole morning. We pointed out this one at the end of the room this morning, and that one from 29.1 dropped down 9 ticks, which would have brought us positive or break even on the day if I had gotten the whole thing. Since then, though, it's had nothing. It's had nothing at all. The euro, we missed this first one right here. Then we had a break even, then we had a stop out, then we had another break even. During the break, it would have to close above the trend line, and it didn't. There was nothing during the break. Okay, and crude oil. There we go. We had 3 break evens in crude. This one right here. Then we had a big leg down. No trades. This one, break even. Then it started to pull back, break even. And during the break, I guess you would have had a break-even momentum long trade right there. And that would have been it. And that would have been it for the crude. Now, the YM, we have nothing. I highlighted one thing here, I guess, but we did not do a single thing on the YM or on the NQ, for that matter. I think. Yeah, I don't see anything down there. YM or the NQ. All right. Depending on where the ES was in relation to the zones, there could have been some nice trades here on the NQ. Could have been. Not sure. But and that was the NQ. All right, on the ES. The ES started out right here at 9:30, and right here at 10:30, it had gotten out of the, let's see, that's 89.75 down to 86.50, 3.25 point range it was in. You see, it was just back and forth across the BBC the whole morning, so there was nothing that we could do with that. Then down here, we got a cross down, and let me just see who's in here. Down here, we got a cross down, but this would have been a momentum short going into dynamic support, so we did not do anything with that. Then we had a cross up, and it took forever to pull back down to the BBC, and that's where it is now. So there was really nothing there on that either today, all day. It's just been a really slow day. Now, if we were to look at the crude in the pre-market, just curious what it looked like in the pre-market, because we had a bunch of news come out at 8:30. So it's not really crude related news. It would have been more gold related news. Was that crude? Was that the euro? I don't know. Yeah, at 8:30 there was a nice bounce off the BBC right there in gold, and then it just got flat. And yeah, it's just been a choppy mess for all these markets, it looks like. Yeah, we did look at this. Crude in the pre-market, not much happening there. All right, well that's it. That's all I got. So let me bring up that spreadsheet again. On the month now, 881.25 over 10 days, and on the year now, 1392.50 over 90 days, averaging 151 a day. Okay, today we're down $90. Right, we're -8 in euro and -8 in gold, +4 in cattle, and we took 9 trades. If you're going to read this spreadsheet, you can read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the very bottom. Okay, now, if you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to take one with us, go to the homepage at CFRN.net, and right here where it says your email, put in your name, and put in your email, then put in your name, then click here. All right. Once you do that, you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link. All right. If you don't click that link, we don't know you took the trial. Okay, that confirmation link is a double opt-in, and we won't know you took the trial if you don't click it. All right. So that is that. And Dwayne, if I drag that out long enough,
yeah, buddy.
You will be there? Okay.
Yep. And for those members of my coffee fan club who want to know what I'm enjoying right now, it is a Berry House French roast. And I must say, it is quite delightful.
Quite delightful.
Quite delightful.
Okay.
It's no Dr. Pepper, but hey, I'm not a little sweet. So. Okay. All right, my friend. Good luck with your journey. And seriously, when you described my malady, I had Dr. Garrett on the phone, and he said you probably pulled a muscle when you were sneezing, and that's what it is. So we're going to go with that. We're going to stay away from all the other possibilities. I know we had a no Fuego Friday in the live training room, so I won't drag you over those colds again and ask you about the recap of the recap. Yeah, why not? What the heck? We had a red day. It happens.
We had a red day.
It's a live day. That's the truth about trading. The last time we had a red day was
the end of March.
Okay. Now we only have a 2-hour window we're working with out of an 8-hour, out of a 23-hour trading day. So, given more time, we could probably turn that around. You think?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the gold trade that I pointed out at the end of the room would have gotten us back to break even anyway. Okay. That alone would have gotten us back to break even.
See, sometimes you got to work hard to get back to break even, and then you got to work a little harder more and get your profit for the day. People just want to sit down, click the mouse, and knock it out of the park every day. That's just not reality, guys. I know there's a million websites that tell you it is, but come on. How many years and how many thousands of dollars before you finally just break down and go, oh my God, they're right. I got to learn how to trade. That's what we offer. We teach you how to trade. We teach you what we know about trading. How about that? I can't make you a baseball player. I can teach you all the rules, how to stand, how to hold a bat, but I can't make you a player. All right. Hey, the Fuego may be coming back. I don't know. I hope so.
I hope so too for yours.
All right. So what are you doing for the weekend with the whole mom thing? And
I had a bunch of flowers delivered to
your lady friend and all that.
Yeah, I had a bunch of flowers delivered to my mom, and we were planning on being out on a boat with a bunch of friends on Sunday. And this time I'll try not to hurt myself.
Yeah,
that's the plan.
Yeah, you and boats don't go together so well. Kind of like me and the Navy. We didn't mesh. Hey, a couple years ago, I sent my mom some flowers. Now, my mom's the kindest, gentlest, sweetest spirit in the world. She calls me up. She goes, hey, son, these flowers you sent? I go, yeah, Mom, did you get them? She goes, yeah, they suck. I'm like, what? What? She goes, yeah, they're like dead. I'm like, hey, Mom, I'm really sorry. She goes, oh, it's not your fault. I'm going down to that flower shop. So she lives in a little town, Harlem, Georgia. Man, she goes in that flower shop and rips them. A lady from the flower shop calls, your mother was just here. I go, well, you shouldn't send people dead flowers. She goes, they weren't dead when I sent them out. I go, well, talk to your driver. He shouldn't kill flowers en route. I don't, what can I say?
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Charge me $80. My mom should get some decent flowers. So
I'm hoping my mom's gonna.
I think the next year we went with like those pajamagrams or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
They don't. Pajamas don't die. They live.
Chocolate covered pretzels and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, while you're off to do what you got to do, I hope all of you guys brought your hookahs and your bongs, because we're going to talk about those pot stocks today. I've been warning you, if you're morally offended by the medical side of marijuana, speak up. And so nobody, in fact, everybody said it's a non-issue. So today we're actually going to begin our discussion, and we're going to talk a little bit about it every day. So, Michael, if you want to get up to speed, you can listen to the recording of the live show later today at emini.cfrn.net. Boy, he did leave in a hurry, didn't he? Okay. All right. Here's a few fun facts to know and tell. Legal weed is an unstoppable global trend. Now, I know this is the Christian Financial Radio Network, and we're not promoting sitting around getting loaded all day. I already covered that. But you might have missed that episode, okay? Doctors are doing stuff with the cannabinoids, and they're doing some pretty miraculous stuff. And the part that gets you buzzed, that makes you want to sit around and eat Twinkies and watch cartoons all day, that part's taken out. They're working with what are called the cannabinoids that are in the plant. So, America is far from the only country poised to loosen the reins on marijuana. Here are 9 countries that are leading the way. I'm going to give you this information, and then next week we're going to start talking about individual companies. Now, as I told you, I'm planning to invest in a fund of these companies, and when I do, I will disclose the fund and the companies involved. I have to. That's just, on a moral level and a legal level, I got to tell you, all right? Here are 9 countries that are leading the way. Israel has already approved a wide array of cannabis-based treatments for cancer, epilepsy, and MS. And not one Twinkie was eaten. Canada, a full legalization program is currently being developed with the explicit approval and support of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Spain, citizens can grow and consume cannabis. They are, however, forbidden from transporting it or selling it. Mexico, cannabis has been decriminalized, but President Enrique Peña Nieto opposes a fully legal cannabis market. Australia, according to ArcView, on October 17, 2015, the federal government announced that it would legalize the growing of cannabis for medicinal and scientific purposes. Uruguay became the first country ever to legalize the sale of marijuana, but so far the legal market lags behind the homegrown market. Jamaica, man, has decriminalized possession of up to 2 ounces of cannabis and now regulates cultivation for medical and, religious purposes. Germany. This is you heard it right. Possession is illegal, but consumption is legal. I know your head's spinning, I'll say it again. Possession is illegal, but consumption is legal. Also, scientific institutions can cultivate and possess cannabis, and pharmacies can sell cannabis-based treatments with government permission. And last on my list here, Colombia. Since 1994, possession of up to 22 grams for personal use has been legal. On December 22nd, 2015, President Juan Manuel Santos signed a decree legalizing the cultivation, consumption, export, and import of cannabis strictly for medical and scientific purposes. And so, in the coming days and weeks, that's what we'll be talking about. We'll be talking about the medical and scientific purposes. Now, while I'm slinging disclaimers, in high school, yes, I was at the tail end of the hippie generation, but I experimented, and unlike Bill Clinton, I, like Obama, actually inhaled more than once, and so I'm not a smoker anymore. I quit the weed a long time ago, and I quit the cigarettes. God, I think it's coming up on 6 years now. I don't like to think about it because sometimes when I start thinking about it, it makes me want one. Who isn't that weird? After 5-6 years of not even one puff, and I was the Marlboro man, smoking Marlboro Reds. Defined who I was. I was the original Marlboro man, and I thought I was the one person on planet Earth that could never stop smoking cigarettes, you know. But my son, when he came to live with us, y'all know that story. Before we adopted, every time I'd get up to go outside, because my wife quit like 10 years ahead of me, so of course I had to go outside. And I just can't believe we used to smoke inside, in doctor's offices, in banks, everywhere, in airplanes. When I was in the Navy and I was flying all over the world, we used to sit back there and just smoke and drink and all that. Anyway, every time I go outside, my son would say, "Dad, where are you going?" And he knew where I was going. I got to step outside for a second. I'll be right back. "Oh, Daddy, please stop smoking." Man, it just ripped my heart every time. So finally, I went to the doctor. I said, "Hey, I need to stop smoking." And he goes, "Let's try the Chantix." And I said, "Okay." Now, my health insurance, back when I had real health insurance, the kind that actually let me go to the doctor, he wrote me the script. I go to the pharmacy, and the stuff's like $100 a bottle. You're supposed to only need one bottle. Of course, I needed two, but anyway, lady says, your health insurance won't cover this. I said, okay. I said, let me ask you a question. If this were medication for lung cancer, would it cover that? She goes, oh yeah, 100%. No copay. I said, oh, okay. I see how this works. All right. So I flipped her a Benjamin and took my pills home and began the journey. And what's interesting is you start taking the medication and you still just smoke for the first week. You don't try to quit or anything. I mean, but you're supposed to be conscious each time you smoke and maybe journal and what motivated you to smoke. Oh, I just finished a meal. Okay. Or I just woke up, Man, a canary could break wind in Lauderdale and I'd light up. But the end of a week, you're supposed to, day one is you quit. And you have this counselor with an 800 number that you can call and they'll, try to help you. But I never actually did that. I just cheated. By cheating, I mean a couple times a day I would take a couple puffs. Until it got down to I was taking only a couple puffs a day. And then it got down to a couple puffs every other day. And then one day I just put it out. And now it's 6 years have gone by. Crazy. Crazy, crazy. And the way this stuff works is it plugs the receptors in the brain that allow you to derive pleasure from nicotine. My clothes no longer stink. My hair no longer stinks. Well, if I bathe regularly. But you all know that my brother went through a health crisis up to the end of his life here recently. And he smoked all the way through. And I never realized how strong the smell of cigarettes were on a smoker, even when they weren't smoking. When I'd go to pick him up, to go to a doctor or whatever, I mean, it was like, whoa, I had to put my window down. And I'm like, man, you got a cigarette burning in your pocket or something there? And he's like, no, I just put one out. I'm like, wow. Just stop. I'll get out and walk. No, brother, I'm not saying that. I just didn't realize how strong the smell was because I was a smoker for so many years. I started when I was like 14. And I guess I was 50 when I quit. 51? I don't know. My God, I'm telling my age on live radio. What are you people doing to me? Okay, so we've talked about the company or the countries where smoking or not smoking, but using the marijuana, the hooch, the the weed, the grass, the reefer, for scientific and medical purposes, it is an unstoppable global trend. The smart money is moving into cannabis. In 2015, $215 million in venture capital flooded the industry. Cash went to farms, dispensaries, technology, real estate, every nook and cranny. And like I said, next week we're going to start talking about some of the individual stocks, some of the individual funds, and the moment I put down a dime, you will be duly informed. On the radio show, every time I talk about one of the companies, I will disclaim that I own, stock in that company, and it will be on the website as well. Okay? So, but I encourage you to do your own research, all right? Let's leave it at that. President Donald Trump threatened James Comey, the ousted FBI director, this morning in a tweet. James Comey better hope there are no tapes of our conversations before he starts leaking to the press, Trump wrote. Shades of Watergate. Oh my goodness. In an interview Thursday with NBC, and I mean today, okay, let's step back in time to Richard Nixon's day. You actually needed a tape recorder to record people. Nowadays, all you got to do is just, before you walk into the office, pull out your iPhone, turn the little app on, slip it back in your coat pocket, and you record everything everybody says in the room, and nobody knows. Unless they got some of that fancy anti-recording technology going on. Let's see, I'm looking at the chat box, see if anything went unanswered. John B., I see your comment about peanut butter is really good in coffee. You know what? I'll tell you what my wife puts in her coffee. She puts... oh my goodness, I'm going blank. Coconut oil? Except it's not really an oil. It's like sludge, but she puts coconut and butter. And I think they call it bulletproof coffee or something. It's supposed to be really healthy for you. I don't know. I take the coconut stuff every day because that's like the newest health craze. It's supposed to be really, really good for you. So I take a spoonful a day. You just kind of you don't chew it up. It's slippery. You get a spoonful and you just tilt your head back and it just slides right on down the old gullet. John B. says he didn't even know there was a hooch fund. Yeah, I'm going to be talking about it next week. Yeah, so I think a lot of people are hip to the coconut deal now. All right, so back to the recording. James Comey better hope there are no tapes of our conversations before he starts leaking to the press, Trump wrote. Or tweeted. Same thing. In an interview Thursday with NBC News, Lester Holt, Trump said he had a handful of conversations with Comey in which the FBI director assured him he was not under investigation. Comey has not made similar comments publicly. The only in-person instance Trump described was a conversation at a nice dinner in which the president's status was discussed. The New York Times reported Thursday that during that dinner, Trump asked Comey to pledge his loyalty. Comey declined to do so at least twice during the dinner, according to the Gray Lady, New York Times, citing two people close to Comey who the Times said had knowledge of the conversation. When James Clapper himself and virtually everyone else with knowledge of the witch hunt says there is no collusion, when does it end? Trump tweeted about half an hour after his tweet targeting Comey. Also, in the NBC interview, Trump trampled on the White House narrative about why Comey was fired, insisting that he would have fired Comey regardless of the recommendation he received from the Department of Justice, and saying the FBI's investigation into whether Trump campaign associates colluded with Russian officials factored into his decision. Top White House officials, such as Vice President Mike Pence and Deputy Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders, have insisted Trump acted on the recommendation of Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein and decided to fire Comey only after he received a letter criticizing Comey's handling of the investigation into Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server. Well, that's plenty of reason to fire him right there. We don't even have to say anything else. But wait, there's more. His tweet threatening Comey was part of a lengthy tweet storm this morning, most of which he aimed at the fake media. Trump also suggested he would cancel press briefings, saying that as a very active president with lots of things happening, it's not possible for my surrogates to stand at podium with perfect accuracy. Threatening to cancel press briefings if the press doesn't straighten up. You get him, Don. Hey, America elected the man. I say let him do his job. Okay? We gave Obama 4 years. And then we rehired him. This guy, like him or not, he deserves a shot to do the best job that he can do. And so far, he's got nothing but hindrance and blowback and BS and enough already, you know? As hard as he tried, Obama could not destroy this country, in 8 years. Him and Hillary and all of them. In 8 years, they couldn't destroy the fabric of America, which is the American people. They broke our hearts, they broke our backs, but they didn't break our spirit. Now, there's a new sheriff in town. Let's give him 4 fair years and see what he does. For all I know, come 4 years, he may not want the job. I have tremendous respect for someone who is willing to subject themselves to public scrutiny in that kind of way. Especially someone who doesn't need the money, doesn't need the fame, doesn't need the power, already got plenty of it. You know, I really do believe that he chose to run as a service to this country. Not to line his pockets, not as a power play. That's what I believe. So, all right. We're going to move along here. A judge has denied Uber's bid to avoid a trial with Waymo and referred Uber's case for a possible criminal investigation. Google's self-driving car unit accuses Uber of stealing its tech. Uber is a bad boys. I mean, everywhere they go, every city they move into, well, of course, you know, the taxi cab companies, they don't want these people coming to town. Those medallions in New York City that cabbies paid $150,000 for, the value of them, wonder what, you know, I'm just going to ask my friend Google here. How has Uber affected the price of a taxi cab medallion in New York City? That is so powerful. Uber and Lyft are demolishing New York City taxi drivers. Now, I say that with no glee or joy in my voice. Not at all. The price of taxi cab medallions in New York seem to have hit a new low. Early this month, a medallion, which is basically the right to operate a yellow cab in New York, was listed for $250,000 on nycitycab.com. That's a stark contrast from 2014, when the value of a medallion was listed around $1.3 million. Oh my goodness. Here I am walking around thinking they're $150,000. And I think I got that number off an old episode of Law and Order. $1.3 million. Medallions are tightly regulated, and you cannot operate a taxi in New York without one. They're losing value, with the cab business taking a hit amid the rise of rideshare apps like Uber and Lyft. Notably, although taxis are still beating Uber and Lyft in New York City, the share of trips shrank to 65% in April 2016 from 84% in April of 2015. Moreover, okay, so just suffice it to say, those numbers say it all. In 2014, a medallion, the right to operate a yellow cab in New York, $1.3 million. That's one cab, not a fleet, one. $1.3 million. As of this article I'm looking at, was written in October of 2016. The price had bottomed to $250,000 on nycitycab.com. I guess that's where people buy and sell these medallions. So let's take a look, because we're not just radio, we're TV too. And there's a Daniel's Trading ad at newyorkcitycab.com. How cool is that? Bert, I don't know if you're listening in, but that's pretty awesome. Here we go. Here's a medallion, unrestricted, one. Oh, the price is coming back up. $425. Unrestricted. One unrestricted clean medallion for sale. $500,000. Call Ted. Clean New York City taxi medallion for sale. Will finance $350,000 for qualified buyer. Leave message. $450. So, okay, they bottomed out last year around $250, and now they're on the rise again. Has Uber been banished from New York City? Remember that article I was just reading? Oh, I know. Let's ask Google. That's not what I wanted to do. Oh, man. First I got no Fuego, now I get this. Okay. Does Uber still operate in New York City? I guess that answers the question. Oh, I like this better. How much is Uber in New York City? For a 5-mile, 10-minute trip going 25 miles per hour the entire way, Uber X would cost $255 base fare rate plus $350 for the 10 minutes plus $10.75 for the mileage for a total of $16.80. it is not customary to tip the Uber driver. 5 mile, 10-minute trip, going 25 miles an hour, $16.80. Now we know. Now we know. All right. The banks that were in charge of Snap's IPO love it, even after the company's disastrous earnings report. Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley are maintaining their buy ratings, which we looked at yesterday, and they have price targets of like $30. Some of the analysts had 31, and I think I saw a couple of 34s on that list. If you missed yesterday's show, you can go watch it. I pulled out the spreadsheet that had all the analyst estimates for Snap, which is an app on your phone. And somehow it's worth billions of dollars. The New York Times, the old gray lady, only has a valuation of $1 billion. Apple will reportedly unveil Amazon Video for Apple TV next month. Wow, that's kind of a big deal. It may be announced on June 5th at Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference, the old WWDC. Guys, if you're not a geek or nerd, this won't mean anything to you, but when the tickets go on sale every year for Apple's WWDC, the true geeks and nerds, they've got like 5 computers set up, and they're all running some kind of program that's constantly trying to log into the website, because the tickets to these conferences, I don't know what happened last year, but I know a couple years ago, every ticket sold out in like 30 seconds. Bang, gone. And I don't know what they get for them, if they resell them on the black market or secondary market. And you ask, what is the Worldwide Developers Conference? Well, it's all the people who create apps and software programs for Apple products, from iPads to iPhones to iMacs to all things Apple. Linux is coming to Microsoft's App Store. Ubuntu, SUSE, and Fedora are being added. Speaking of fedoras, I don't know if you've been to sometime-I-wear-a-fedora.com lately. I own that place. I do. There's nothing there right now, but it just popped into my head one day. I think it was on the show here. Sometime-I-wear-a-fedora.com. And I plan to build it out, and I plan to find some sweatshop in China to make me some fedoras, and I'm going to sell them on Amazon and on my own website, sometime-I-wear-a-fedora.com. That's a true story. It is. I went online that very day, I think, while I was on the show, and bought the domain. So, interestingly enough, it was available. Magic Leap says it's opening up its secret glasses to developers this year. The augmented reality tech company has taken huge amounts of funding, but is highly secretive. President Trump has signed an executive order aimed at upgrading government cyber defenses, according to Reuters. It builds on efforts undertaken by the Obama administration, which means they're starting from scratch. UK startup Improbable has raised a huge $500 million funding round, according to Bloomberg. SoftBank leads the investment into the simulation tech business. That's kind of a funny name for a company, Improbable. With a new controller, Microsoft has taken a big shot at Facebook and Sony in the race for cheap virtual reality. It is teaming up with Acer to create a $399 virtual reality bundle. Now, I think you guys, let's see. I'm going to show it to you. I don't think I showed it to you before. Hang on. I bought my virtual reality headset at the dollar store. It cost me $5, but now see, I got a smoking hot deal. Your iPhone slides in. First, you download an app. There's free apps and there's paid for apps. I haven't paid for an app yet. I just downloaded a couple free ones. And my kids thought it was really cool, but I didn't feel like I was on the roller coaster. You slide your phone in, you get it going, you slide your phone in there, then you put this big headset on your head, and hello, virtual reality. Now, I mean, it wasn't bad. I just didn't feel like I was there. So I'm guessing the ones that, go for $399 are probably a step up. Here's the Darta. Oh, Amazon got it for $11.90, Prime, free shipping. But again, I paid $4.99 at the dollar store. So I can only assume as we go up in price, the quality gets better. And iOS devices. See, that's the iPhone. You just slide it in. Now I don't know why that guy's looking at his hand. What's that all about? I don't know. I didn't know anything about looking at your hand. It didn't come with any instructions or anything. For use with VR-compatible media for photorealistic three-dimensional environments, downloadable VR content is available in the App Store. Padded visor and headband. It's compact, easily portable for use while on a road trip or long flight. Yeah, don't try driving with it on. Removable device cradle holds smartphone securely in place. Yeah, it does. It does everything it says it does. But I still didn't feel like I was on the roller coaster. So, when one of you guys shell out for the big toy, $3.99, let me come over and play. Okay? Alright. Biggie. Okay, winding it down, a study suggests that the Apple Watch can accurately predict heart problems. Whoa. According to the Next Web, the wearable device detected atrial fibrillation with 97% accuracy. Wow, does that make you want to wear one, or does that make you want to not wear one? Oh, Mike, I'm glad you asked about the wheat trade that we talked about yesterday. Who brought that up? Was that you that brought it up, Mike? Because something very interesting happened. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, remember yesterday I drew in this little box and I said my zone for buying this would be 4,365 up to 4,380. Look what happened today. Remember, these are all the fibs and the fib extensions we drew. If you missed yesterday's show, you can go back and watch it, and I dissect this entire trade on a 30-minute chart, and then look what happened today. Bang. If I had been in the trade, it would have triggered me in at 4.365, but it never made it to 4.380. It only got to 4.3775. So I guess I missed it by a tick. How cool is that? I'm not bragging. I'm just saying I can teach you how to do this too if you become a CFRN partner. What I did yesterday on the show, Anybody can learn how to do it. It's not magic. It's not voodoo. It's not witchcraft. There's no crystal balls. There's no wacky tobacco. None of that. You learn how to read a chart. You understand how crowds react to certain things, and then you become a trader, player. All right? All right. All right, last on my news list for you. Apple invested $200 million in a company that helped make the first iPhone. Apple's Advanced Manufacturing Fund has invested in Corning. Remember when Mom used to bring out the casserole? It was in Corningware. Same company. God, they've been around forever. Apple isn't out to get all of its third-party suppliers. It seems the company has handed $200 million to one of its most important suppliers for the iPhone, glass and ceramics maker Corning. The funding comes from Apple's new Advanced Manufacturing Fund. Is the fund's first investment. According to a statement from Apple, the funds will go towards Corning's research and development, glass processing, and equipment. Corning has been an Apple partner for the last decade and put toughened glass known as Gorilla Glass on the very first iPhone. Yeah, and my very first iPhone, the very first time I dropped it, the very tough Gorilla Glass shattered. It shattered. The partnership hasn't always been smooth. There was a brief blip in 2014 when Apple thought about working with a company that produced synthetic sapphire crystal screens, but Corning returned to supply Gorilla Glass for the iPhone 6 and the 6 Plus after the other partnership fell apart. Corning's a great example of a supplier that has continued to innovate, and they are one of Apple's long-standing suppliers, according to Jeff Williams, Apple's COO. I wonder what that did to Corning's stock price. This article just came out today. Corning stock price.
Corning is currently trading at $29.04.
Now, this is the wacky world we live in. News comes out today that Apple just gave these guys $200 million to go do research and development and make better stuff with. Their stock tanks. This is a one-day chart. I mean, it's climbing back. It didn't really tank, but it dropped from $29.20. Wait a minute, it's up 23 cents on the day? Oh, I bet this news came out yesterday. Okay, let's go look at a 5-day. Let's look at a month. So, yeah, I guess it's trading near its highs. Back in the day, when a company had good news, the stock price always went up. And when a company had bad news, the price always went down. Not so much anymore. You got all that buy the rumor, sell the fact. I mean, that's been around a long time, but that's nothing new. Anyway, good word for the day. What do you say? What do you say? What do you say? Yesterday we talked about the fact that Calvary was always part of God's plan. From the beginning. As a little boy, when the angel says, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" Oh my goodness. What a frightening thought. Keep the fire burning. Luke 24:32. Did not our heart burn within us while he talked with us? After the resurrection, Jesus met two of his disciples who'd seen him crucified and did not know, had not heard the good news that he had been raised from the dead. Then later, as he ate supper with them at their house, an interesting thing happened. Their eyes were opened, and suddenly they knew it was him. And they said to one another, "Did not our heart burn within us while he talked with us on the road and while he opened the scriptures to us?" That's Luke 24:31 through 32. I've always kind of wondered, how did that work? Was he wearing a disguise? Did he have those glasses with the nose and the mustache? I mean, how did they not? I mean, they'd been with him for several years. How did they not know him? But that's what the book tells us, and I believe the book. This story has much to teach us about keeping the fire of love and devotion to Christ burning in our hearts. As you walk with Jesus and spend time in his presence, he talks to you and reveals himself through the scriptures. We all know that to keep a fire burning, you must tend it, stoke it, and keep fueling it. Why do some of us go on to higher heights and deeper depths in our walk with God, while others just seem to wander around in circles without ever getting anywhere? Because one group commits itself to pursuing God. In fact, there's a great book called God Chasers. I think the guy's name was Tenney that wrote it. Now, that's where that article I wrote years ago, God Chasers and Emini Traders, which you'll find over on Seeking Alpha. God Chasers and Emini Traders. It tells about our company and how the name came to be, etc. It's about a 5-minute read. No Pulitzer or Nobel Prize winner, but it's an explanation because somebody asked. People always ask, why you got to drag God into it? Well, because he's a part of my life. So, anywho, because one group commits itself to pursuing God, they're God chasers, until his presence becomes a daily reality in their lives, while the other group doesn't. It's that simple. See, I remember when I came back from Africa for the first time. I was such an impressionable young man. And I came back a changed human being, as everyone always is. But I realized that here, God is a part. God is very much a part of the Christian life. But in Africa, what I saw was that God is the Christian life. I'll let you ponder on that. The question is, of course, which group are you in? If you're lukewarm and half-hearted in your walk with God today, he's saying this to you right now. Return to me, and I will return to you. That's Zechariah 1:3. Or, in layman's terms, turn around and come back. You'll find me where you left me. So the word for today, keep the fire burning. Turn and run. He waits with open arms. That's our good word for the day. Okay, Mike. Now, yesterday we looked at this baby on a 30-minute chart. And I can only have so many charts open at a time. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to get rid of this. Yep. I'm positive. And now that this has already happened, we're just going to delete all drawing objects. We're going to drop this down to a 4-tick range. We're going to place our spiffy CFRN indicators on them. Okay, we just got a bearish cross. Now, some people would say, oh, and there you got your touch. No, you see, here's the cross. And this is price pulling away. This is price pulling back to physically touch. So some would think the trade was here, when in fact the trade is here. And if it never touches, then it's on the break of that trend line right there. Now, what about the long trade? Okay. There was a good long trade, and there was a good long trade, and then things got really sloppy. And then price pulled away very nicely, bullish cross, and then price pulled back, and then it gave an up close. And then it was time to buy the open of this candle. Now follow my cursor, the red line up, vertical. What do you see? You see a CFMA1, red and falling. I don't buy into a falling red MA1. Especially when my cycle looks like it's about to turn red, which it did do on the next candle. It did it on this candle, but you could see it on this candle. So I would have not taken this trade. Does that help you out, Mike? Now, before everybody runs out and short sweep, I don't know, is this market even open? I don't think I've seen it twitch since we... This may be one of those close early kind of... This is really early. Mike, is wheat still open? I haven't seen this thing twitch. Okay, now, so it looks like maybe we got a short trade lining up. I mean, that's kind of what I just said, right? Well, let's get up on top of the house and see what it really looks like. That definitely looks short. This looks wild. That's the 9:30 half hour. That's the 10 o'clock half hour. On a 30-minute chart, we got a bullish cross, but it looks like it's going to fail. And so if you take out that aberration, which I don't know what else to call it. I mean, we basically have a downtrending market that topped about 8 o'clock last night. These weird spikes, yeah, if you're in a trade, they'll run you over, stop you out. But I would expect to see this, see the MA1's red on the 30-minute. I would expect to see it cross back over. And I would expect to see crude trade, or not crude, wheat trade back down around this spike low, which is, you know, the spike low was 435.50. Oh, I'm sorry, 431.25. So now that we know, although it's actually a tad confusing because you had a bullish cross, the MA1 has turned red. The cycle is red. But you don't have the bearish cross yet on the 30-minute. But it sure looks like it's coming, or wants to come. And whenever I'm confronted with a situation like this, where I feel confused and not confident. Now, be careful with the confidence, because confidence can become arrogance. You have to always embrace the possibilities. Just because it looks like for sure this is what's going to happen, you got to use a hard stop, and if it doesn't do what it looks like it was going to do, you got to cut bait. Okay? So if this candle touches, you don't need a trend line. If we get a down close on this, if it touches and we get a down close, you sell the open of the next candle. If we never get a touch, then you need a close below the trend line right here. Now Mike might tell you need to wait for a lower low, and that might not be a bad idea, but I think somebody's put this market to sleep. Speaking of defibrillators, we might need one here. Mike says it closes at 2:30. Well, current time is 1:16. Where's John? He's supposed to call at 1. That guy. All right. So we've done the news, done our good word for the day. I did some personal things today that I feel good about. Let's get into the Concierge Trade Alerts and see if there's anything worth talking about there. Okay. On top of your go-to apparatus on your screen, there is a little device looking much like a camera. If you would like to snap a photo of the email I sent out last night to the subscribers, please do. It will save a photo on your desktop. Okay? All right. This way I don't have to drag it out every time as we go from market to market. Now, let's start, as we always do, with the ES. Last night we said consider selling 2387, which is also the same thing we said Wednesday night. Because look what happened. Price went from this weekly trading zone down to the zone, back up to the zone. And so, I mean, it just seemed like the right thing to do. Yesterday it dropped 8 points. Today it only dropped 2 3/4 points. But then important prices, important areas are almost always tested. Once, twice, thrice, and it looks like we're going to get. It looks like we got number 4 cooking over here. Okay, so what did this one drop to? The swing low was 84 1/4. Is that the same low as we had over here? Yep. So we got 2.75 twice. Now, every S&P trader I've ever known says, man, if I could just get 2 points a day out of the S&P, I'd be living like a king. Well, Your Highness, there you go. Enjoy. And yes, those grapes will stain the silk sheets, so be careful. All right, moving on to the Dow. I'm not even going to comment. It is what it is. I'm just stretching it out to try to make it look bigger. Okay. That 18 so far yesterday, when I put that on there, that was referring to that candle. and then it fell off again. but by that time I'd already sent out the new alerts. The new alerts went out last night at 7:25 p.m. Eastern. That's 1925, which means the candle we need to use is the 1930 candle right there. All right. The official word was to consider being a seller at 28.25. The swing low was 28.26. No trigger. Saved by a tick. Okay. Now, of course, that means so far, because the market's still open and anything can happen. Embrace the possibilities. What was the buy side? 209.05. Boy, I was dreaming, huh? No short trigger, no long trigger. The dog days of summer, and summer's not even here. Now we have to use the 2000 candle on soybeans because they don't open until 8 p.m. All the other markets open at 6 p.m. Eastern. Although Trump threatened no more that he might take away the White House press briefings, it looks like they're going to have one today. So, wouldn't surprise me. He was so ticked off this morning, it wouldn't surprise me if he showed up instead of Sean or Miss Huckabee. Okay, soybeans, the email said consider being a buyer at 968. What's the swing high? 67.75. Okay, so we got a new abbreviation. No long trigger. And on the sell side, 960. Swing low, 60.50. You know what's coming. NST. I can't believe it took me a decade to come up with these abbreviations. Over a decade. Amazing. Bonds. The one bad boy market is the one that actually gave up some business today. 1930. And the email said, consider buying 151.04. Come on down. 151.04. There you go. Buy. Alrighty. And we put in a swing high at 151.22. So that's going to be 18 points. are 18 ticks at 31.25 per tick. It's not Spicer, it's not Trump, it's not Huckabee. It's a bald-headed man. I don't know who that guy is. Oh, he's H.R. McMaster, the National Security Advisor. I should know this stuff. I'm in radio. Oh, yeah, see, I would know the sound of his voice because I'm in radio. Okay. 18 ticks at 31.25 per tick. There's 32 ticks in a point. 1 point is worth $1,000. If you go from 150.06 to 151.06, that's $1,000. A gee whiz. 32 ticks to a point. 31.25 per tick. Now, even though it was a nice day in bonds, I'm going to say what I always say about bonds. If you're just learning how to trade, probably bonds should not be your first foray into the market. Okay? I mean, it's real swell when you're on the right side of the trade and it's running and paying you $31.25 per tick per contract. But when it's moving against you, it adds up pretty fast in that direction as well. I hope you got a hold of goal. 1830. Is that it? Yeah. Okay, the email on gold suggested buying 1228. Can we get a 1228? Why, yes, we can. By 1228. Well, you won't be watching any Blue Bloods tonight because last Friday was the season finale. And it was a real barn burner. Well, a house burner. But I don't want to spoil it in case you haven't watched your TiVo yet. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Important prices, important areas are almost always tested. So we put in a high up here at $29.70. So that's $170 per contract available. And then we get back below the trigger. And bingo bango. Swing high is 31.50. So that's $350 per contract available. Of course, we don't get out at the swing high or the swing low because we trail our stop and or trade to a hard target. Either way, you're almost always going to leave something on the table. You got to learn to get over that. Because if you try to milk a trade for every last tick, it will usually come back to bite you. Okay? Don't get greedy. Please. All right. So we've covered the S&P, we've covered the Dow, covered soybeans. You know, sometimes. Just fired off a flaming email. I just said, John, are you coming or not? If he's not, that's okay. But let me know, bro. Crude. Even crude's weak today. There's such lethargy in the markets. However, we, you know, even though they're lethargic, well, I guess there was 2 charts where we had no trigger. So, you know, you take what you can get. And hope for better days. Okay, crude oil. Oh yeah, you just had to do it, didn't you? $48.05. Nailed by a tick. Call it like you see it, bro. Stop out. And on the flip side for crude, sell 46.95 in my dreams. Okay. After crude, I think we only got, what, 2 more markets, the NQ and the Russell. It was like the NQ had a zig and a zag. 1930. Okay. The email said on the NASDAQ, so 56.58. You're killing me here. That's just hurtful. Unbelievable. Like I said at the top of the show, no Fuego Friday. Although you probably would have got stopped out twice because you only got stopped out once here. Because this didn't pull back enough to stop you out. Okay. On the long side. Give me something. By 56.76. Well, if you insist. By 56.76. 82.75. So that's 6.75. Times $20 per point. Back below the trigger, off we go again. It actually did it twice. There was 6.75 in this 30-minute candle, and there was 6.75 in this 30-minute candle. I guess I'll just go to the second power. I don't know how to do that on a keyboard. And this one made it up to 86.50. So that's 10.5. Oh, there you have it. Oh, the Russell. Still got the Russell. Whoops. Oh. Okay, and the Russell doesn't open until 8 o'clock as well, because it's on the ICE exchange, but only for a couple more weeks. You know, we should check in on that. When will the Russell return to the Chicago Mercantile Exchange? Question mark. Okay. This is dated April 12th, 2017. That's pretty current. Let's see what it's got to say. The CME Group, the world's leading and most diverse derivatives marketplace, today announced that starting July 10th, okay, so I said June, it's July 10th, 2017, CME Group will launch both futures and options based on the Russell 2000 index, as well as basis, trade, and index close functionality on the futures contracts, pending regulatory approval. We need Bert to come explain to us what the heck that means. The full list of new contracts available to trade follows: E-mini Russell 2000 Index Futures, options on those futures, weekly options on those futures, options on the E-mini Russell 2000 Index Funds end of month, E-mini Russell 2000 Growth Index Futures, and the E-mini Russell 2000 Value Index Futures. And if you wonder why they call it the Russell 2000, because just like the Dow 30 has 30 companies and the S&P 500 has 500 companies, the Russell 2000 has 2,000 small cap companies. We're pleased to bring the Russell 2000 index back to the CME Group, where traders will now be able to access major equity indices on a single platform, like it used to be. Offering these new products at CME Group will provide our customers a more cost-effective opportunity for global exposure using futures and options, with margin offsets of up to 70% against the S&P 500, NASDAQ, and Dow Jones indices. Boy, I wish I knew what that meant. The Russell 2000 index is the standard recognized benchmark measuring the performance of the small cap segment of the U.S. stock market. With its growing popularity of passive investing, indexing data has become more valuable for investors. John, do I hear you there in the background? Thought I heard somebody. CME says we are excited to continue providing robust liquidity in the Russell 2000. These are powerful tools for investors seeking to manage risk in the important small cap segment. Equity index futures and options are among the top products traded by our futures clients, according to Dan over at E-Trade. We look forward to the CME offering the Russell 2000 again, which further complements their equity offering. As a trader, having the Russell 2000 at the CME Group provides me with cost efficiencies and greater flexibility to trade against other index products like the Dow and the S&P. I'm glad to see it will be trading on the CME Group in July and look forward to trading the contract. Okay, what we want to know, are the data fees going to go away, and is it going to go back to $100 a tick? This article, sadly, does not answer that question. What if we called them? We can do that, you know. You guys want to do that? We'll just call them and ask them. I just whip out my little handy dandy telephone calling machine, also known as Google Hangouts. Loading. Come on. Okay. Hello. What's up? Oh, there we go. Now, I don't know if you guys will be able to hear both sides of the conversation or not. Quite frankly. I don't even hear the phone ringing. There it goes. Can you guys hear the phone ring? Can you hear the ring?
Corporate Communications, Debbie speaking.
Hi, Debbie. This is Dwayne Reeves. I was calling with a quick question on the Russell 2000 that's going to move back to the CME in July.
Uh-huh.
You know, since it went to
Are you a reporter? Are you a reporter, or are you a user, or a broker, or?
I'm a trader, and I do have a radio show. And I was just wondering if if anyone has discussed, you know, the ICE exchange, they were charging $100 something for the data feed, and they reduced it from $100 a tick down to $50 a tick.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be the person to answer your questions. I'm sorry, you said you were a trader and you have a TV show or a radio show?
Radio show, yeah. And I'm just trying to find out from my audience, you know, because everyone's eager to trade the Russell again when it gets back to the CME.
Okay, let me put you in touch with the right person. And your name is?
Dwayne Reeves.
Okay, just 1 second.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
So, are you guys able to hear the other side of the conversation? I know on the recording that both sides will be captured if the software is working properly. Okay, Keith, so you guys don't hear the other side. All right. What she told me was that she's not the right person, and that she's going to put the right person on the phone who can answer that question. So we're on hold on radio.
Dwayne?
Yes.
The person that I would like you to speak with, her name is Alex. She's not in her office at the moment, but she is here today. Can I put you into her voicemail or take a message?
That would be wonderful. Thank you so much.
Voicemail's okay?
Yeah, voicemail's great.
Okay. For some reason, I can't forward the call.
Okay,
Why don't
I can
you
call.
give
I
me
can
your-
call back.
Okay, or I'll be happy to take a message.
Yeah, let me call back. What extension number would I ask for when I call in?
Okay, so I'll give you her direct line. So her name is Alex, and her last name is G as in girl, ORBOKON.
Okay.
Gaborkin.
Okay.
And her number is 312
Mm-hmm.
930
Okay.
3193.
Okay, great.
And
I think
she's just at lunch, so if you want to give her like an hour.
Okay, I'll try her back in an hour. Thank you so much. All right, have a great day. Bye-bye.
You too, thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, so I need to talk to Alex or Alice. No, she said Alex Gaborkin, and she gave me her direct line. She's at lunch. She'll be back in an hour. Now, some might say you just violated the law by recording a person without their knowledge. Well, my backside's sitting in a chair in Phoenix, Arizona, and in the state of Arizona, which is where this phone call originated from, only one party needs to know that the call is being recorded. That's true in a number of states. So, if somebody calls you up and you think they might be recording the call for whatever reason and they've not disclaimed it or disclosed it, you can ask them, is this call being recorded? And if it is, they have to say yes. Like if she'd asked me, am I live on the radio or are you recording this call? I would have said, yes, ma'am, you are live and we are recording it. And she could have then continued to talk to me or terminated the conversation, but, And if it were something of a delicate nature, I would have, of course, informed her, man, this is being recorded and you're live and blah, blah, blah. But all I was asking is what you heard me ask her. So I will hopefully have the answer for you on Monday's show, because I'm going to call her back in an hour when she gets back from lunch. I'll be in a mentoring session. Well, I'll get a hold of her. Some way, somehow. All right, one last market. Let's do it. I guess John's just blowing us off today. I get no respect. All right. Russell, talk to me. So 1381. Wow. This more reminds me of one of my favorite beverages, Sleepy Time tea. No, I'm not going to get off that easy, am I? 1381. Where are you? There. No. Odds are this won't go on forever. But we'll see. So we put in a low at 77.80, might as well call it 78. $150 per contract available. And I think Michael mentioned to you, good folks, today that we traded live cattle today. True story. In the live trading room. And it sounded a little something like this. Yep, that's the sound of my straight line candle. Alright, enough hijinks. I should probably get out of here. I mean, the kids got to go do a little shopping tomorrow, Mom's Day. Oh, look at that. We didn't even... Hey, you stop that. Alright. It dealt us 2 3/4, 2 3/4, and then it short-handed us. Well, although you're not stopped out yet, so if you're in the trade, hold on to your knickers. It might reverse. What a week, man. Let's go back to the Sunday night Globex Open. Man, when we popped up here and there was this huge gap, I'm like, woohoo! Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, we had a 12-point trade running into the close Friday. 12 points on the S&P. And then we do this big gap open Sunday night. I'm like, yeah, let's rock. And then it does this. Yep. True story. Alright. It is the weekend. CFRN law dictates you must spend quality time with your family. That includes the wife and the kids or the husband. And act like you enjoy it, okay? And maybe get your shopping done today. Now, if it's going to be flowers, don't go today. Go late tomorrow night or late tomorrow afternoon. Depending upon where you live, don't leave them in the car. Boy, I've made that mistake a time or two. Too many. If you live here in Phoenix and you buy chocolates, don't leave them in the car. Chocolate covered strawberries, don't leave them in the car. Okay? My wife has been working out so much lately. She spends hours a day on that gazelle. I don't know what she's training for. Maybe to leave me, I don't know. But good Lord, she's gonna be the healthiest. She got a Fitbit. That's one of those watches, and it tells her how when she uploads that thing to the computer at night. I mean, she's got 6 sisters. 6 sisters, 2 brothers, is that right? Yeah. Yeah. And they're in like this competitive thing, and like she's just smoking them all. But a lot of them go to work every day and sit behind a desk. She just she's on that gazelle, boy, just looks like Tony, what's his name? Just gazelling away. And watching TV, you know. Or listening to music, or listening to some other interesting thing on the kitchen computer there. It's quite a nice setup she's got, but makes me feel kind of, you know, lazy. She's, you know, why don't you get on it and try it? And you know, my brain wants to. It really does. Like, as soon as she steps off of it, my brain wants to go over there and get on it. But unfortunately, unless my torso and my arms and my legs are willing to accompany my brain over to the gazelle, it's not going to happen. So I'm going to talk to the whole body over the weekend and see if I can't get some kind of agreement going on. Oh, that's right. The special expires today at Planet Fitness. You can get a month for for like right now they got a deal. It's like $10 a month, and you can go as often as you want. And the one over by us, it's got a barber shop. You get your manicure, your pedicure, lift your weights, walk on your treadmill. I mean, get a massage. Now you can't get all that for $10 a month. Basically, you can get in the place for $10 a month, and you can use the equipment. If you want the haircuts and the massages and the pedicures, that's, you got to pay for that separate. But she did mention, she says, but there's always a but, right? She says, but I don't want to have to go there by myself. Oh, okay. So this is gonna cost $20, and while I can sit in my Barca Lounger and watch her on the Gazelle at home, they probably don't have that program over at Planet Fitness. But you know what? I used to go to the YMCA almost every day, and I would have some of my favorite sermons on my iPhone, either Matt Chandler or Mark Driscoll. And those sermons typically, Matt Chandler runs about 40 minutes, Mark Driscoll will run an hour. Pop in my earbuds, and the first 10 minutes is always like gut-wrenching. I don't care if you go every day. The first 10 minutes, you're just like, oh, I can't do this. My knees, oh. But after 10 minutes, you hit some kind of zone, and it just feels good. And then you're actually enjoying it, and you're taking your water bottle, and you don't unscrew the cap, but you hold it over your head like you're squirting water all over yourself, like the Olympic runners, and you just did a marathon and stuff. And your wife's going, stop that, you're embarrassing me. Well, you know what happens when you take me out in public. You wanted me to join this fitness club. So I better skedaddle over there and pick up 2 memberships. Count them, 2. I should probably get 4, because the kids aren't old enough to stay at home by themselves. Or are they? Riddle me this. 15-year-old boy, 10-year-old girl, brother and sister, half brother and sister. Are they old enough to take care of themselves for us to run to the store or run to the health club? I'm asking parents who know, because as you know, I'm relatively new at this whole parenting thing. Well, not really, but I feel like I am. Crickets. Well, if I could make a cow moo, I can probably come up with the sound of crickets. So let me ask one more time. A 15-year-old boy and a 10-year-old girl, brother and sister, are they old enough to babysit themselves for a couple hours while mom and dad go out for dinner and or go to the health club? Okay, I got a raised correctly yes. Oh, and I got a no kids, sorry. Seriously, Planet Fitness doesn't allow kids? Well, then I'm sure glad I raised my kids correctly. And I won't be needing my cricket sound, because you guys answered. But you know me, I'm going to play it anyway. All right. Fair enough. All right. Well, thanks for your input, gents. Oh, no, I don't have any kids. Ask yourself what century we live in. Now, Keith, I'm looking for help here. Not riddles. I think it's the 21st century. I'm not sure exactly what you meant. Ask yourself what century we live in. Well, Does that have to do with whether two kids can be left alone? I'm guessing you're saying no, that they probably shouldn't, because we never have. And if we did, it would be a first. But if Planet Fitness doesn't allow kids, well, let me ask my friend the internet. Does Planet Fitness allow kids?
Here is some information for Are Kids Allowed in Planet Fitness? According to adalbanse.wordpress.com, June 15th. First response by Planet Fitness. Age restrictions vary depending on location. However, most clubs abide by the following age restrictions. Due to liability reasons, the minimum age requirement for membership is age 13. Ages 13 to 15 must be accompanied by a parent, guardian who is also a member.
Okay, the reason I was silent was because the lady was speaking into my headphones. Those listening to the recording after the fact will hear it. The deal is, age restrictions vary depending on location. However, most clubs abide by the following age restrictions. Due to liability reasons, the minimum age requirement for membership is age 13. So see, that cuts Emily out for, good Lord, she turns 10 this year. Oh man, this is a problem. Ages 13 through 15 must be accompanied by a parent or guardian who is also a member. But shouldn't they have like a playroom or something? I mean, maybe they can't go on the equipment, but it just doesn't seem right. Oh, some guy wrote a blog about this. I've been a member since the time you first opened and have generally been pleased with my membership. For the first time since I joined, I needed to bring my 9-year-old daughter with me since my schedule is really hectic and I had less than an hour to work out. While she was sitting on a chair quietly coloring, a Planet Fitness employee interrupted my elliptical workout, it's kind of like a gazelle, to ask me if that was my granddaughter coloring. An honest mistake. I'm 61. I told her that she was my daughter. I get that all the time. It ticks me off. And her polite reply was that kids under 13 weren't allowed on the premises. I disputed that because when my wife was thinking about joining a few months back, one of the salespeople told her it would be okay for our daughter to sit quietly in the non-exercise area while my wife worked out. I asked to see the policy in writing, and the employer referred me to a section about black card membership that talked about bringing guests in to work out, adults or children 13 and older. When I finished on the elliptical, I started to talk to her about the rule when a male employee, who I was only able to identify by his incredibly bad breath, and yes, I told him that, butted in and told me that they weren't a daycare center, and what I did was against corporate policy. When I started to protest, he told me that if I didn't like the policy, they could see about canceling my membership. I told him that I would think about it. That's when I told him about his breath. I think his fellow employees already knew about it. My question is whether it's also corporate policy for club representatives to exhibit rudeness into paying charter members. I'll be the first to admit that I am a demanding customer, but that's the way the market works. And I am appreciative that the first woman who spoke to me said that my daughter could remain for today only, but that I shouldn't bring her back for subsequent visits. She demonstrated at least some customer orientation. But Mr. Halitosis was clueless. I sincerely hope that he's not the owner or a member of upper management of this facility, because that will hurt your business in the long run. I look forward to hearing from someone and might suggest that if in fact it is corporate policy that children under 13 be banned from the building, that you make that more clear to your salespeople, your members, and your potential members. Okay, so Planet Fitness responded to him a couple of times, and the first response, they said what I just said about ages 13 to 15 have to be accompanied with a parent or guardian. Okay, so then he wrote them back and said, "Thank you for responding. Is there a corporate policy that doesn't allow a 9-year-old girl to sit quietly in a chair away from the equipment, reading a book or coloring, while her mother or father conducts a 45-minute workout? For the first time in nearly 2 years, I brought my daughter in. She sat quietly in one of the chairs that older adults often sit in while their spouses work out. I specifically told her to stay out of the exercise area, and she did, and she was always in my view. I recognize that Planet Fitness does not provide daycare, but I think this hardly qualified. I can also tell you that when my wife was considering membership a few months back, the salesperson specifically told her that our daughter could sit in that area or the small room with the television while she exercised. That's why I didn't think twice about bringing her with me on this one isolated occasion." Okay, now they wrote him back. "We would not be able to look after your daughter while you're working out. We're unable to look after another person's child due to liability reasons. If something were to ever happen to your daughter while in our facility, we would be held liable, so we cannot allow this. We apologize for the inconvenience." So he writes them back. "Both times you haven't answered my question, but it's a moot issue since I don't plan on ever bringing my daughter with me again. And for the record, I never asked anyone to look after my daughter while I was working out. If I decide to bring my 91-year-old dad with me someday, I won't ask anyone to look after him either." So they wrote him back. More wisdom from Planet Fitness. "Since your father would be an adult and of adult age, we would have no need to supervise him while in the facility. This policy only applies to minors. We thank you for your email." After posting this blog, I sent them the link. "I still don't know if there's a corporate policy against bringing children under 13 into the facility, although my local fitness center has posted a small sign at the door suggesting that it's their policy. One of the facility staff always greets me by name when I walk in and out the front door. Mr. Halatosas and I have exchanged nods with each other. Same with the other employee who felt the urgency to interrupt my elliptical workout. If I could transport my 91-year-old dad down to St. Augustine, I would love to bring him with me to Planet Fitness. It would generate a whole new corporate policy." I guess Dad's a bit of a cut-up. Okay. All right. Well, I guess I'm going to email. Let me copy this link and email it to my wife, because this may bear on whether or not she really wants me to get her that. I mean, I suppose we could go. No, because I have mentoring sessions. Oh boy, I get the feeling my whole world's about to get rocked. And not in a good way. Alright. I'm out of here, guys. Sunday, Mother's Day. Do what you gotta do. Do it right. Remember, my mom passed. It's been about a year now. And I sat the other morning staring at my phone. And my mom, I've always lived out in here. I joined the Navy at 17. Fell in love in San Diego. Moved with my girlfriend to Phoenix. Never intending to make it my permanent home. It just kind of happened that 36 years later, I'm still here. I was planning to go back to San Diego, quite frankly. And it really broke my mother's heart that I chose to live away from home, where we could get together on weekends and, go to church together and have dinner once a week, and the way normal people live their lives. But every day I could have picked up my phone, since we got these iPhones, and I have her Galaxy S7 in a drawer. Hope it doesn't catch on fire. Every morning I could have typed, "Good morning, Mom. It's a beautiful day in Phoenix. I love you. Send." What would it take? 15 seconds out of my life? It would have made her day every single day. I didn't do it. If your mom's still around, do it. Do it. Especially if you live in a faraway place like Phoenix, Arizona. Because the folks in Harlem, Georgia, it's like another planet. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in today. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading Emini Futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.